Hello everyone, welcome back again to our channel Technical Cloud Knowledge, and I'm back with another lecture on Linux. So this is the lecture number 33 of our Linux series. So basically my focus on today's session would be on the storage management. So this topic is very important as today I'm going to cover some of the integral topic under storage management, such as how we can do the partition of a hard drive or a disk and how we can format our hard drive by physical as well as by virtual method. So today we will going to cover all these things so that you will get an overview regarding the storage management. And also in my further lectures of storage management, I will cover more topics such as LVN method, BDO method and their labs. So at least around 14 to 15 lectures would be covered on storage management. So for that, I consider you all to watch the entire video as the lecture is very important. And also do not forget to subscribe our channel Technical Cloud Knowledge for more updates and upcoming videos on our latest technology. So let's look at into the lecture first and then we will do the further discussion. So first we will going to understand what does the topic here storage management is being referred. Now first we will going to understand what is storage management and why does it important for all of us. Okay, so let's understand what is storage management. Storage management refers to the software or processes to improve performance of data storage resources. As you all know, some of the data storage resources are USB, pen drive, SSD, and etc. So all these are here refer for the storage resources which will store the data. And to check its performance and improve its performance, the storage management is used here. Okay, so the basic use case of storage management is to improve the performance of storage related data, we can say resources. Okay. So I hope you are clear with what is storage management and also why does this important for us. Basically, suppose if you are a Linux administrator or even if you are a beginner, it is very important that you know regarding the storage management. If you are going for an interview regarding the Linux or if you are doing a or preparing for RSCSA exam in Linux, so you need to know regarding the storage management because most of the questions coming under the exam as well as in the interview would be related to only storage management. So that's why you do have an idea and knowledge regarding the storage management so that you will answer it perfectly and correctly. Okay, so I hope you are clear with that much. And also in the industries, most of the people work is related to the storage management. They mostly on their daily basis they do the work related to storage management. Suppose if on their physical server they want to set up a hard drive and then they want to format it, mount it and get or do the partition of the hard drive or disk, so they do know the storage management. And even if you are using AWS or creating an instance on cloud, so it is necessary if you in the backend you want to set up a storage as well. So in such type of all these scenario needs the storage management. So for all these situation you do have a knowledge regarding the storage management. That is why it is very important for all of us, even the administrator as well as for the beginners too. Okay, so I hope you are clear with these two questions. Now let's move on with the lecture. So let me tell you that primarily in Linux, there are two ways by which we can do the partition of a hard drive or a hard disk. Okay, so these two ways are, first is the standard or we can say physical partition. The second one is the we can say virtual or LVN partitioning method. Okay, so which is mostly based on the automation, and the standard method which is mostly based on the manual method. Okay, so today we will going to cover all these things so that you will get the overview, and in the further lecture I'm going to do the lab also of storage management. Okay, so to understand this better, let's assume there is a physical server. Okay, and on this physical server a hard drive of about 500 GB has already been set up. Okay, now in the industry, maybe in the industry the manager assign you a work that they have set up a new hard drive for you and they want that you need to format this hard drive which is also about 500 GB. Now to understand how we can format the hard drive, If you do remember, when you use the pen drive or USB, first we need to do the formatting the hard pen drive or the USB. Thereafter, we will able to store our data. So to store our data, to store any data under any data storage resources, first we need to do the format. Okay, first we need to format this resources such as pen drive. Thereafter we will able to store the data, because if we do not format, if there are some any bugs or issues related under pen drive, they will also affect our data. That's why it is also necessary to format the resource first, and then thereafter you will able to store your data. So similarly in the hard drive too, first we need to do the format. Okay, first we need to format our hard drive, thereafter we will able to store our data. Now while formatting, it will automatically generate a structure. Like when you are making or building a house, first we need to provide a structure, thereafter we can make a house. Okay, so similarly in the hard drive too, first we need to provide a structure. So when it will automatically generate a structure, it will also generate some rows and columns under its structure. Okay, while formatting. So under this rows and column, as you can see, there are many blocks. So under these blocks, your data will be stored. That's why it is very necessary while formatting, do create a structure of rows and columns, and under the blocks you will able to store your data. Okay. After that, now we will do the formatting. The structure is assigned, the first stage is complete. The structure is assigned in which there are many rows and columns and blocks where you can store the data. Now the second thing which we have to move on is format option. So now let's understand the formatting. Under format, there are many file system will come. Okay, so under formatting, the file system will come. Now let's understand what is the file system. So the file system are generally a file which will arrange, it is a kind of a system. Basically the file system, it is a kind of a system which will arrange files on a drive. So whatever be the data or the files available under your like whatever from your application or the main output, it will arrange these files on your drive. So this is the file system. So if I talk about in Windows, basically in Windows, the file system which come under Windows are, and these are the popular ones, maybe you know that, NTFS, FAT, FAT32. So all these are the file system which is available under Windows when we do the formatting. And in Linux, there are also some famous file system which are also available under Linux, such as ext2, ext3, ext4 and xfs, and there are many more. We do not need to go in further related to file system. We just need to understand that the file system main use case is that to store the basic data. It is used for the basic storage. Okay, so these are the file system which is mostly used in Linux and Windows. Now we need to format our hard drive with these file system. Okay, suppose on my server there are many applications are also running. Let's take application 1, application 2 and application 3. On my server there are almost 3 applications are running. Okay, and now all these 3 have different demands. Okay, all these 3 wants different file system on their hard drive. The application wants that its data would be stored in such type of hard drive which is formatted by the ext2 file system. Okay, so its demand is for ext2 file system. Now similarly, app 2 is also demanding that it wants such type of hard drive where its data will be stored, and the hard drive will format with ext3 file system. Similarly, the application 3 also wants xfs hard drive. So it wants such type of hard drive which is formatted by XFS file system. So all these 3 applications have different demands. To fulfill all these 3 application demand, we need to do? We need to create 3 different hard drives on our physical server. Because we all know that all these three different file systems have different features or functions, such as if talk about Red Hat have three variants: RHEL, CentOS, Fedora. So all these three have different features and function. Okay, everyone wants, if I want RHEL, if you want CentOS, and another one wants Fedora. So all we want different variants because they all have different functions. Similarly, application 1 to 3 wants different file system because they want these according to their data storage. Okay, so to fulfill their demands for each application, what we need to do, we need to create three different hard drives. We need to create three different hard drives of about 500 GB each. Okay. Second hard drive is also about 500 GB. The third one is also about 500 GB. Now they want three different hard drives with three different file system. Now what we will do, if we are able to create we are able to set up three different files, hard drives, which is about 500 GB. Now what we will do, we will format the file system in each hard drive. In the first hard drive, I'm formatting the file system of ext2. Okay. And in the second hard drive, I'm formatting the file system of ext3. Similarly, in the third hard drive, I'm formatting XFS file system. Okay. Now, by formatting each and every file system in each and every hard drive, we will attach all these with the application. So, the first hard drive which has ext2 file system, I'm attaching this hard drive with the application 1. Similarly, I'm attaching the second hard drive with the application 2 and the third hard drive with the application 3 to fulfill their demand. Similarly, we will attach all these. Okay. So that's how we are able to fulfill their demands. We are able to provide the data storage resources according to their needs. Okay, so all they want, their demands, whatever, suppose application 1 has different demand, we are able to fulfill that. Application 2 demand, we are also able to fulfill, and application 3 also. Now in our physical server, when you are using physical server, they will provide some slot, that minimum and maximum range of setup. You can set up the hard drive. So in the minimum or maximum age, we can say the maximum slot which is provided under physical server is about 6 hard drive. Okay. Now the industry want to set up 10 different hard drives under this only single physical server. Now what they can do? In such type of situation, they need to create another physical server, or they need to buy another physical server on which OS is also installed. Hard drive will also set up, so it will also has a slot of 6 different hard drives. So we need to create a multiple single server for each and every we can say like hard drives. But if the industry want on its physical server, on its single physical server, at least 12 to 13 hard drive here the industry want to set up, but it has the only slot of 6 to 7 hard drive. Now what the industry will do? They need to create another physical server. It is necessary because it is not possible under only a single server. But when you are using cloud, if you are using AWS or Azure, EC, if you are using the AWS or Azure on cloud, you can create multiple instances, and you can even increase the or decrease the size of these instances because it has a feature of scale up and scale down. So in the AWS, or we can say in the Azure, on the cloud, basically it is possible to create multiple hard drives in one go. But on the physical server, it is not possible. So in such type of situation, what we can do? And also the application 1, 2, 3, all they have some another demands too. Now what they want? They want, as you can see right now, it is 500 GB data. Their data application 1 wants such type of hard drive which is about 100 GB, because the application 1 is only able to generate the data of 100 GB. So the application wants such type of hard drive which has only the storage of 100 GB. Similarly, application 2 only wants such type of hard drive which has the data of which has a storage memory of about 100 GB. Similarly, the third one too. So they all have their different demands also. Now what we will do, let's understand. Suppose this is a physical server. Now they all have the demand that they want such type of hard drives which is about 100 GB. But if you do go in the market, if you visit the market, you will able to know that in the like there is no 100 GB hard drive is available in the market. So in such type of situation, there are two options. Or to do the first is that you can do the partition by physical method. Okay, manually you can do the partition. The second way is that you can switch to cloud. So these two are option is available for you to create the 100 GB partition, or we can say 100 GB hard drive. Okay, now as we can see, application wants such type of hard drive which is 100 GB, but we have provided it 500 GB hard drive. The remaining 400 GB storage is wasting, just wasteful. It is unnecessary, which is not useful for the application 1. Similarly, for the application 2, the remaining 400 GB storage is wasteful. Similarly, for the third one too. And all these are around 1200 GB storage is unnecessary is taking. And in this type of like unnecessary storage, we can create many hard drives too, and we can fulfill the demand of the industry. So in such type of situation, we will going to move with the partition. We will going to do the physical partition. Okay, so what we will do, suppose in this hard drive we will create the partition. Okay, we have been able to create 3 partition for the application 1, 2 and 3. In the hard drive we will able to create the partition which is all about 100 GB. So each one application demand is also fulfilled, and also the company, the industry also set up many hard drives here now. Okay, and if they want to extend, suppose we have provided 100 GB for the application 1. This partition is for the application 1. This partition is for the application 2. Similarly, this partition is for the application 3. We are able to provide 3 different partitions for each and every application according to their demands, so that we can fulfill their demands. Now, their demand is also getting rise. Now, what they want, the application wants that to more space. Now, the application wants more space. The application saying that now in this month it is able to generate around 200 plus GB data. Now what we will do, we have already only provided 100 GB of storage to the application 1, but now its demand has been raised up. Now the application 1 wants 200 GB data storage. Now what we will do, so in such type of situation, first we can't extend its data storage runtime. We can't do that. If you are using on the cloud, if you are creating the storage on the cloud, you can change, like you can extend the data storage, or you can provide more space to the application runtime. But on the physical server, it is not possible to provide the more space or extend the data storage runtime. So in such type of situation, first we need to delete this storage. First we need to delete this partition. What we need to do? Delete first partition. This is the first step. Then what you need to do, when you are able to delete the partition, similarly at the same moment, at the same time, you need to take the backup of this file system. Okay, when you do the backup, you will also take the backup of this partition. Take the backup in another hard drive. Okay, so that we can restore our backup also. We are also able to take the backup. Now when we are able to delete the partition and also taken the backup. Now we will assign a new hard drive, a new partition to the application 1, which is about 200 GB, because this hard drive is 500 GB and right now only 300 GB is used. The remaining 200 GB is there. So we will extend the space. We will provide more space to the application 1, which is about 200 GB. We will also create another partition for 200 GB for the application 1, and we will format it with the ext2 file system, and then we will attach our application 1 to this hard drive, to this partition, which is about 200 GB. Okay. And after attaching it, after formatting the partition, after providing it a file system, we will copy the backup on this partition. Okay, and that's how we will able to restore our backup. So similarly, if the application 2 also want to extend or wants more space, we will do the same thing. First we will delete it first partition and take the backup, then we will provide another partition to the application 2, which is about 200 GB along with the ext2 file system, and then we will attach it with the application 2 and restore the backup. Similarly goes with the third application 2. Okay, so that's how in the physical way we will provide the partition, we will do the partition, and we will provide according to their needs more space or extend. We can do this type of method. We can use the partition method, which is standard or physical. We will use the standard partition here to do the partition of the hard drive, as well as to provide more space to the applications. Okay. So this is the standard partition. I hope you are clear with the standard partition. Now we will move to the LVN partition method. If we want to do all these things virtually, because if we do it manually, so it will consume a lot of time, as well as it is somewhere a bit complicated. So I want to make this task easy, and I want to do it virtually. So how we can do so? So let's understand. So for this, there is a concept called LVM concept. We will also do the practical of this concept in further lectures. Okay, so this part you need to listen very carefully. Wait. Okay, so LVM. Now let's move to the LVM. What is LVM? So if I talk about its full form, which is Logical Volume Manager. Okay. So this is the concept LVM partitioning method, by which we will what we will do, we will do the partition of our hard disk or the hard drive in a virtual way. So if I talk about in short what is LVM, let me give you a brief as well regarding the LVM. So LVM, it is a kind of a form of, we can say, like we can store our data in a virtual way, and it will also provide a flexible approach to the administrator so that they can like manage the disk storage space, as well as it is more flexible as compared to the traditional, or we can say, standard partition. Okay, so it is a very flexible way to store our data in a virtual way. So this is the LVM concept. Okay, so LVM concept says, suppose there is a hard drive, there is a physical server on which a hard drive of about 500 GB has already been set up. So the LVM concept says, that in the first stage of the LVM concept, first you need to convert your physical hard drive into a physical volume. Like you need to create it in a virtual way. So what we will do, first we will create our hard drive into a PV. What is PV here? Physical volume. Okay, it is a kind of a virtual hard drive. So we will create a PV which is also about 500 GB. We can say a virtual hard drive which is about 500 GB. And LVM say that after creating a PV, you need to make it under a container. You need to create a container also. You need to create a group container which is known as VG, volume group. Okay. Let me write it there as well. You need to create a volume group which is connected to the PV. Okay, your hard drive is connected to your PV is connected to the container. which is also about 500 GB because it is connected to the PV, and PV is also 500 GB. Now what we will do, and now we will create an LV. Okay, we will create LV, logical volume. We will create a LV of about 100 GB because our application wants 100 GB of data, because it has already only generate the 100 GB of data. So we will create a logical volume which is about 100 GB. So it will not consume a lot of space and a lot of memory. So that's why we are creating here LV, which is about logical volume. And but we are doing in the partition way, in the standard partition. Here we are doing the partition. Okay, here we are doing the partition and providing a different hard drives to each one. So, but in the virtual way, we will create the LV, which is about 100 GB, and then we will format this. We can say it is a kind of also a hard drive. We can say we will connect the LV. We will format that LV with a file system called. We will format this LV with the file system ext2 and attach this format LV with the application 1 to fulfill the application 1 demand. Okay, so this is the main method of LVM partition. Similarly, we will also create a LV of 100 GB, and on which we will format ext3 file system to fulfill the demand of application 2, and we will connect this file system to application 3, because all these application are generating only the data of about 100 GB. Similarly, we will also create an LV of 5. Sorry, here I need to write 100 GB. By mistake, I've written 500. We will also create a LV of 100 GB here too for the application 3rd. Okay. Format it with the XFS, because application 3 demand is for the XFS file system. Am I right? Now let's connect it with the application 3rd. Okay. So that's how we are able to fulfill their demands by a virtual way. And right now, if you can see here, the volume group is about 500 GB, and we have already used only the 300 GB of data. We have already only used the 300 GB data. Remaining 200 GB is there also. So we can create more LV here also. Okay, if you want to create more LVs, or we can say in the standard way, we are just creating the 3 different hard drives. Okay, and we need to create multiple hard drives in the physical server. But now in here, we do not need to create multiple hard drives. We will create the LV. Okay. Similarly, suppose a time will came when your volume group will get fulfilled. Now what we will do in such situation is, suppose if I want to create 100 LVs of about 100 GB. So would you think that it is available under volume group, which is about 500 GB? It is already only providing the 500 GB of data, but I want to create 100 LVs with 100 GB. So it is not possible with this volume group. Now what we need to do? Now I think most of you have an idea that we need to delete this volume group and want to create another volume group with the extended space. So in such situation, we do not need to do this. What we will do, we will create or set up a new hard drive on our physical server. Okay, which is also 500 GB. And then we will make another PV of this hard drive. which is also 500 GB. Then we will connect it with our volume group. Now our volume group is about 1000 GB. Similarly, we will create another hard drive and then we will make it to PV, which is about 500 GB, and then we will connect to our volume group. So that's how we can extend our volume group space, or we can say storage runtime. We do not need to delete anything. Okay, we can do this runtime. But in the industries, suppose if our this server is fulfilled with 6 hard drives, as I already shared with you guys that there are some slots which has been provided on the physical server that you can only create this maximum range of server, or we can say maximum range of hard drive on your physical server. So the slot which has been provided on this physical server is about 6. So you can only create 6 hard drive on your physical server. Now when this get fulfilled, now what we will do? In such situation, industries are already being come up with the advanced level that they used to what they do, they used to set up a huge racks, okay, a huge storage racks in which they will set up multiple hard drives, which is about TBs. Like each hard drive is about 1 TB. Now if there are 100 hard drives on this storage rack, we can say on this, wait, first let me create it. Okay, so as you can see in this blocks, there are many hard drives. There are about 100 hard drives. Okay, in these 100 hard drive, each and every hard drive is about 1 TB. Now the storage rack is about 100 TB. So when we create 100 TB, so it is about 100 TB storage. Now what we will do? We will connect this storage rack with our volume group. Now our volume group space get more raised. Now it is more increased. The volume group space is get more increased. It has it has around 100 TB storage. So now our volume group is about 100 TB storage. Okay, so that's how we can do if our server get fulfilled. So similarly, if this storage rack will get fulfilled or all the storage will get used, now the industry will also create another storage rack, will also come up with the another storage rack to fulfill the demand. Okay, so that's how it happens in the industry. They already been set up many storage racks to store the data on the hard drives. Okay, so this is the LVM, which is a virtual method to store the data. Okay, so I hope you are clear with the overview of the storage management. Right now it is just the overview. When you do the practical of LVM method or the labs on storage management, you will get it more interesting. You will find it more interesting and fascinated. Okay, so this happens. And also let me tell you one thing, when you are doing the partition on the cloud as well or the Azure, it is also necessary that you know the storage management, because when on the backend in the near future, maybe you need to know the storage management. In the near future, you have to set up the storage on your AWS instance. So at that time too, you know regarding the partition as well as for the formatting option. Okay, so that is why it is necessary for under the storage management. So I hope you are clear with the storage management topic very well. And to know regarding the storage management more, you need to connect with me and tune with me. So this is the lecture and I hope you find it very helpful. Thanks for watching.